Hey y'all, Kevin Hutchison here with Realty Austin, and I am grateful to be a part of Stories Inside the Man Cave, a homegrown podcast just like my own business.
Wake your ass up
or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I bet not say you got a bed.
That's it.
Hey, and that's what we're celebrating here. And I thought it was a no-brainer for me for episode 126 for the St. Peter's Sweet 16 party. A guy that I've known, well, I haven't grown in height at all, but Doug Waters, I've known since his days growing up in East Texas. And when he was with the University of Texas baseball program, he fulfilled many roles, and he actually worked in Oklahoma and university athletics administration. Now, this guy is on the East Coast for the school that everybody's talking about in the Sweet 16. Doug, first and foremost, I've got to ask you about this journey of yours to the East Coast. How did you end up at St. Peter's University?
Yeah, I graduated from Texas with a journalism degree and decided that I wanted to go into journalism, especially in college sports. So as you mentioned, I got a job in Oklahoma, working with Oklahoma City University, and then went back to grad school at Concordia University back in Austin. Mm-hmm. My wife got a job out in New York City. She works in fashion design. So when I graduated from grad school at Concordia, she goes, I have a job and you don't, so you better come on out here to New York City. So I just kind of happily obliged. So came out here, I got a job. I was actually extremely fortunate to get a job at Stevens Institute of Technology. I worked there for 2.5 years, The pandemic did nearly, crazy. And then I love my time there, but then I got the opportunity to come out to St. Peter's back in November, basically literally the day before the season started. I got this job out at St. Peter's, and it said, let's do it. Let's hit the ground running. And, now I'm here in Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. So I don't want to be the typical guy who asks, man, could you have ever projected this, been the modern day Nostradamus to see this? But to break it down for people who I'm sure a lot of people are more educated on St. Peter's University, more so than ever, but it's a school about the size, maybe a little smaller than Rice University, 3,200 seat arena or gym. And there is a little bit of Division I postseason history with this program. It's just been scattered a little bit. Could you see anything along the way that would have given you the idea that this program had a chance possibly to make the NCAA tournament? I know no one saw this.
Yeah, to make the NCAA tournament, absolutely. We really struggled early in the year. Right. We lost some early games. I think we started 3-6. To be honest with you, if my numbers are correct, which I should know the numbers right. I'm the only person that should. And it was really a struggle. And then we went on a COVID pause. Actually, we didn't play from December 18th to January 14th, so almost a whole month basically. We came back from the COVID pause, and I guess something just clicked. I watched us, especially down the stretch of the season. We beat a team. We beat Niagara University at home, and we held them to 36 points. God, I watched that game, and I'm just like, this defense travels everywhere, and Coach Holloway preaches that. So this defense I knew could just continue to stop people, and it's just a matter of if we could score. And it's really been Daryl Banks, Doug Eddard, everyone's heard the name, Casey Nadefo. All these guys have really stepped up. In terms of making the tournament, I thought absolutely we could have made the tournament. Iona was the best team in our conference in the regular season. But they got knocked off early in their conference tournament and kind of opened up a door for us. And, even then I still think we could have definitely played with and definitely beaten Iona in the championship if that would have come to it.
Now, Doug Waters, he's a Diboll, Texas native. In his career, he works in athletic administration. There's his long title there, the assistant athletic director for strategic communications. You mentioned your head coach, and I want to play this soundbite because I know how the media works sometimes. They ask certain questions. They asked your head coach, who I have really gravitated to because of this mindset. He reminds me of the Russell Westbrook of head coaches, me against the world type guy. Somebody asked him if they thought that St. Peter's will run out of fuel, so to speak, and start feeling the bullying aspect. This was his response, and I have to agree with him 100%.
I got guys from New Jersey and New York City. You think we scared of anything? You think we worried about guys trying to muscle us and tough us out? We do that. That's who we are.
You've been around the program, Doug. New Jersey and New York City guys. It's a different level of basketball.
It's a different kind of basketball. I mean, they grow up, playing. It's a cliche, right? You grow up playing on the blacktop, right, in Brooklyn, and banging around people. But I mean, that's real. You walk around. I lived in Brooklyn for a year whenever I was first out here. You can't walk 10 feet without seeing a basketball court outside. Everybody's playing basketball. It's just huge in the culture, especially of New York City and also in New Jersey. So, these guys grow up, literally just like the street ball, no blood, no foul. Everyone's heard that. That's absolutely true out here. So, and then, the basketball at the high school level out here is just phenomenal as well. So they get it every night in, night out, and especially, against each other. Their practices, my office has a big window to the gym. I can watch every single practice, and it is intense every single game, every single practice. They're in there and they're banging around, so, he's absolutely right. I knew for a fact that even when we're playing Kentucky, we're not going to get intimidated by any of these teams, now whether or not we could, play and score and everything, that was the question, but intimidation, that was never going to be a factor.
Well, here we are, and I've got to bring up this graphic, and I love seeing this because I know you write, you plan, you handle logistics, you handle everything that you do from digital media, everything. You played a big role in this away from the court, but when you see this, I want to watch your reaction. I know you've seen this before, but I want to just watch your reaction as I pull this up. And there you guys are, a member of the Sweet 16 field. The reality kind of sets in because we're getting really close to that game time for Friday, and you get to face the team who knocked out your alma mater, Texas. You really don't have mixed feelings because tell the fine folks who are watching this in Texas, across the country, or even in Germany. We have a few viewers in Germany, apparently. Shout out to Germany. For you, your job, you're dialed in as much as the players are as far as the business aspect of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the thing that pops out of me is not just the St. Peter's Purdue matchup there on the screen. The one right below us is also in Philly. North Carolina plays UCLA in Philly after us. We got picked to be the primetime game, and they're playing after us. We're 7:00. So the idea that you got UNC, UCLA, Purdue, and St. Peter's, like those three schools are just basketball powerhouses, and to have our names next to them, it's amazing to kind of see and look at, and yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, once we get to the game time, I'm locked in. I run our social media accounts, so anytime you see Peacock's MBB, we really, thank God, blown up the last couple of pretty much week. So that's all me trying to make sure that we gain a good social following, and we have people engage with us. So yeah, once we start the game, honestly, when we start the game, I love it. It's there's a lot of stuff before and after the games that I have to deal with that I could do without, but once we start the games, it's absolutely fantastic.
So Doug is in Philly. I'm away from the home base in Austin here in Dallas, Texas, just up the road. Hence the beautiful backgrounds that we have. We're basically living the hotel life, Doug and myself. So you mentioned the social media, and we're rushing through this because Doug's time is very valuable, as are the St. Peter's Peacocks. Were you behind the tweet which said, I think you tweeted out, can we get our blue check mark now to be verified on Twitter? Was that you, the author of that?
So the actual words were just verify us and then you at Twitter. And yes, that was me. That was myself.
Beautiful. This is your guy, the man behind the best tweet of this year's March Madness, Doug Waters, everybody.
Thank you.
That was well done.
Thank you.
I literally laughed out loud, and there was nobody around me when I saw it. I had no idea you were behind that.
Yeah.
Hey, before we get to the best part as we wrap up, we're gonna onboard a new sponsor. It's local. If you watched us, we have manscaped.com. That's a beautiful sponsor. We just don't have time to go into trimming the hedges and everything today. We'll do that another time, Doug, and we'll try to get you some manscaped.com products for you. But we're going to onboard our new local sponsor from the ATX. Yeah, our new sponsor, Honest AC of Plumbing. Those guys are truly behind the word. They're old school, kind of like East Texas, where a handshake means something. And they fell victim to the tornado in the Hutto Round Rock area a little bit. The last time I checked, they're doing well, but give those boys a call for all of your AC and plumbing needs. We're going to wrap up with Doug Waters, the man behind the digital and everything. See, real quick, Doug. The man cave story, anything you can tell about, maybe you want to share real quick regarding a special story, either with Texas baseball when you were a team manager or whatnot at UT, or maybe this run with St. Peter's.
Yeah. I mean, I think fans might be more interested to hear about, my first interaction with Augie Garrido. That was a pretty fun interaction there. Coach Garrido, we're sitting behind home plate, and I don't know that he knew exactly who I was at this point. I'm still just a first-year student manager. I think my second or third week on the job, and we had a guy that was batting, and he just kept fouling every pitch off. And foul pitch off, foul pitch off, foul pitch off. And it was unbelievable, honestly. I don't know that if I stepped into a batter's box that I could foul this many pitches off in a row. I feel like at some point I just put the ball in play. So Coach Garrido is sitting there next to me, and we're just kind of, sitting, and he leans over to me and he goes, "Now, son, if this guy fouls off this next pitch, you're fired." And I didn't know. Coach Garrido is extremely sarcastic. I did not know this at the time, so I don't think he actually meant this. But the next pitch, the guy steps in. He actually hits the ball, hits the ground ball to short. Nothing too crazy, but he gets the ball in play at least. And Coach Garrido leans over and he goes, "All right, you can stay." And that was it. So I'll always remember that. That was an amazing interaction. And I asked him about it, a couple of years later, and he was like, "Yeah, I like to give the new guys just a little bit of crap and make them a little nervous at the beginning of their jobs." So. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty lucky that, I don't want to know what happened if he hits another foul ball. My guess is I might not have been a student manager at Texas. I think there's a pretty good chance of that, apparently.
So Augie stories are always priceless.
Absolutely.
It's been a rough go for a lot of people, but we're, memorializing the man that the legend Augie Garrido was and always will be. But it's also, I think there's a lot of laughter now when those stories come up, the great man. But having mentioned Texas baseball, it will always be near and dear to you. You will always be forever a part of it. Their start to the season, what you have been able to follow, adversity hits regardless. They can't, when you lose a starting pitcher and you lose an outfielder, and you go on the road for about 11 games, bad things can happen.
Yep.
And it did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I haven't watched a ton. I am typically a religious Texas baseball watcher. Right. I will try to watch every single game. I mean, it hasn't happened as much as I wanted to this year, but it's a great thing that it hasn't happened because I've been so busy with St. Peter's. But yeah, no, I mean, the losing Tanner Witt, I knew when that happened. I mean, that's just tough guy to replace. That rotation was unbelievable. That was the best rotation I think Texas has had possibly since 2014 when we had Nathan Thornhill, Dylan Peters, and Parker French were all on the team, and that was an unbelievable rotation as well. But this rotation, they had all three of those guys have top 10 round upside in the draft. So you lose those guys, as you mentioned. You lose Austin Todd, who I just feel bad for that guy. That guy was actually, that's the one guy I actually still know from the team. So his
he's a 12th year senior.
Yeah, his freshman semester, he came in the summer, and I was still working in that summer. That was my senior semester. So we had met just then, just for a brief moment. I don't know that he would remember who I am, to be honest, at this point. But that's the one guy that I actually know because he's still there. But yeah, I mean, they're still, they're still number 2 team in the nation, right? They're still ranked number 2 by D1, and I am very intrigued by the series this weekend at Tech. That's going to be I think a huge test. I think there was a fun fact I saw today, and that Texas hasn't lost a series at Tech in 15, 20 years, something like that. It's unbelievable. But then Tech hasn't lost a series in Austin in like 6 years. So you never know what can happen in that series. It's been a crazy series. I remember in 2014 we went there. They stole home on us in 2014.
I remember that.
And then we ended up winning in that game in extra innings. But that was absolutely insane too. That was in the 9th inning, and their fans are absolutely insane. Lubbock fans are, amazing, honestly.
That's a good college baseball environment.
We'll see. I will reserve judgment on this team until I watch this weekend, or see the scores this weekend. I'm not watching many games.
So Doug Waters, I know you're not a man of projections or predictions, and I'm not going to put you in that position, but he's an associate AD of strategic communications, basically handles all of the St. Peter's University digital social media, does a fabulous job with it. My advice to you, a favor for Doug and a favor for Stories Inside the Man Cave. Follow the St. Peter's University Peacocks men's basketball Twitter handle, at least. Just that. All you got to do is search it, click like, follow.
Yeah, follow.
What has it been like as we were wrapping up here? As you're in Philly, I'm in Dallas. Well, I've mentioned that a couple of times. What's on the agenda for you guys as you guys prepare for Purdue? Because you guys have basically won the Kentucky State Championship by beating Kentucky and Murray State. Louisville may have something to say about that.
Yeah. On the tomorrow is another full day. We practice at the arena at 9 a.m. and then we have press conferences after that. The press conferences are my main responsibility, making sure the guys get up there and talk and come back down and head out. And there's a lot of times people want to talk to them off the podium, so try to get those all set up. And then we'll practice, I think, again in the afternoon off site. So it's a full day, and they'll be. It was kind of all new to obviously last week in Indy. And I think now, these guys, they kind of understand exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go in there. We're going to, get the practice done. We're going to come out and they're going to do the press conferences. They see it only took two rounds, but it seems like they've become pros at this. So hopefully my job's pretty easy tomorrow.
One thing I've got to ask you, handling the media is a chore, and it's also fun at the same time. But I can't remember which morning show it was. They threw me off. I was actually, when you stay in hotels, you get up early. I don't know if it's a Today Show, Good Morning America, but the anchor said something like, I had no idea where St. Peter's University was, but it's literally across the river from us. How is that possible? I know you guys are in Jersey City, but was she exaggerating, or is that really?
No, not a lot of people know. It's a small school, man. You can drive by campus and not realize that you have driven by campus. It's basically just on a corner block. You drive through it. It's really, really small. They've done a lot of work in the last 5 years of really making renovations and put in a new student center and everything. They got a new arena for the basketball team that we just opened up this year. So, but yeah, and the other thing is there's so many schools out there. Seton Hall is just down the road. Rutgers is just down the road, and that's just in Jersey. And then you got St. John's in Queens and Manhattan College, and obviously in the Bronx. So, there's a ton of schools in that area. We kind of just get lost because of the size of the school, and if you're looking athletically, as you mentioned, we made the tournament 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
Not twice, 2010, 11, that season.
Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, we made it twice in the mid 90s. So, and then you look at the other sports, there's been some success recently, but previously there hadn't been a ton of success. So, I know which one you're referring to is the Good Morning America. Because I set that up and that's what the lady had actually told me too. She was like, I didn't even know you guys were so close that, so, but yeah, I mean, that was, that's kind of this how it is. And now we've got 40 people in a media availability yesterday. It's crazy.
So last question here. I've got to ask you, what you take this away. Do you feel like this is not only going to enhance recruiting, because there are a ton of 300 Division I schools who play basketball and baseball. What do you think this will do for St. Peter's moving forward?
Well, I mean, just for the university itself, it's going to do wonders. The exposure has been unbelievable. As I'm in Good Morning America, had Coach Holloway on. Today's Show had Coach Holloway on. He was on Pardon My Take.
Yeah.
And then the president was, interviewing with the New York Times, the Washington Post, the AP. So, in just that, it's going to increase enrollment. It's going to increase, obviously, revenue. Every time you win a game, you do better for the school. That's just, how it is. So it's fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, I think that this run is really going to help the school as a whole. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, recruiting and the athletic programs, I'm guessing there are people right now that are reaching out to our coaching staff, our baseball coaching staff, our softball, volleyball, wanting to come to St. Peter's that had never even heard of the university, but had just watched this March Madness run and liked, they like the way we play, or they like, certain things about our team that they want to know more about a university. It's just been, I don't know if I can put into words, kind of the growth it's going to have for the university.
It's a lot of fun. It's going to happen, like Stephen F. Austin has profited from over the years. Doug, we're proud of you. I don't even know I guess we heard what a sound a peacock makes, but you are our honorary peacock for life, and you put St. Peter's on the map in all of our hearts who know you. Hell of a job. Tell your family hello, and thanks for making time for the stories inside the man cave tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother, and good luck, man. There's a ton of fans of the Peacocks, and I say that with a straight face. That is a fun program to watch. So for Doug Waters, now a VIP alumni of Stories Inside the Man Cave, and for the Man Cave OG boys, that being Big Mike, Hardball Harge, and Coach Mo, we are out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.